Okay, friends, we're back. Ended up with two of these bins that are about half full, a little over half full of fillets. I weighed them after we got them filleted and rinsed, and I got about approximately 8 pounds of really nice sockeye fillets in here, all cleaned up, all boned out. Sarah volunteered to do some scaling for me, so it didn't take much time at all just to get them filleted out and get them thrown on the ice. Yeah, these are all cleaned up, and they've been chilled. They're real cold now, firmed up. I'm going to put them in a light salt and brown sugar brine. We have our brine solution all ready to go here, and just going to whisk it up. Made a half a gallon, which should be enough to cover all these fillets. Yeah, so this is an old family recipe that we used for kokanee for years. It's the best recipe I've found right here. So I made 8 cups, so I quadrupled this recipe. But for small batches, 2 cups of water, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and 1/4 cup of salt. I use canning and pickling salt. Don't use iodized salt. And then I put half the water in hot. Hot tap water works great, as long as it's not chlorinated. And then I put in the dry ingredients and whisk it. And then when I get that all in solution, then I add cold water. So it ends up with a kind of a room temperature brine. That way you get better, it dissolves the salt and the sugar better. And then we're going to smoke it at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to smoke it for about 3 hours for fillets these size. I'm only going to brine for 4 hours. A lot of people brine overnight or maybe even 24 hours. But kokanee, it soaks up salt like crazy, and I don't like it too salty. So I'm going to brine it for 4 hours. You can do it anywhere from 2 to 8 hours for fillets like we have, about 1/2 inch thick. Anyway, we'll brine it for 4 hours today. I'll take this secret recipe and put it back in my pocket. And make sure I got about the same amount of fillets in each tub. This one's a little lighter, so we'll just try to, yeah, that looks pretty good. That feels about the same. I'm just going to pour our brine in very carefully. It's about half. Yeah, the idea is you just want to keep them submerged in the brine at all times. Got a little bit of salt and sugar here that didn't dissolve, so I'm just going to kind of whisk it up and pour half of it in each one. It's a good job to do outside because they don't make these pour spouts very good. It spills all over the place. So then I'll just stir these fillets a little bit just to make sure everything is saturated with the brine. Yeah, these are beautiful. Another thing too is this top layer. I like to lay it meat side down. Make sure the meat is all, none of it's floating toward the surface. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to put these back in the fridge. Let them brine for 4 hours. In the meantime, we can get the smoker ready. Redneck smoker. This is my Redneck smoker. It's an old Masterbuilt. I picked it up years ago, and it didn't work very good. So I tore the guts out of it, and I kept the racks here. So I piped my own smoke in through this little mailbox contraption I have, and that smoke pipe that comes in there. Okay, well, the brine time is up, and rinsed off all these nice fillets, and patted them dry with a paper towel. And now we're just waiting for them to form a glaze called pellicle over the surface of the meat, which helps it keep from bleeding out all of its moisture, and it helps it take on the smoke flavor better. Anyway, it takes about an hour or maybe 2 hours with the fan. In the meantime, while these are drying, we can go out and get the Redneck smoker fired up. Yeah, I'm gonna set this up for about 6 hours of smoking, and that should be plenty to do these. And I'm gonna set the temperature to we'll see how low this thing will go. Take her down to about 120 if possible. Look at there. Ah, perfect. About 120 degrees. So yeah, the electronic part works great on here. The problem is it has a burner down there that gets quite hot, and they had a, a chip tray down there that I tore out because this thing will not smoke unless you get it up to about 150, 160 degrees, which will destroy kokanee fillets. Bad deal. So anyway, I kept the cabinet, piped in my smoke through the side here. That hole there was where you fill the pellets. Had this little tube that you stuck in there. And I piped her down into the back side of this mailbox. We had this old spare mailbox. Not sure where it came from, but we had it around. I put a damper in front of it, and then inside I have this little smoker maze, which I fill with smoker pellets, and we're going to use apples today, so we got to get some smoke going. Might as well fill it up, get the show on the road here. Yeah, got some applewood pellets here. Yeah, we'll just fill this maze up. This is a maze I picked up off Amazon somewhere. I think it's called the Amazing Smoker. It's good for barbecuing and doing whatever smoking you want to do. But yeah, it doesn't build much heat up. And the next thing we want to do is light this puppy on fire. Uh-oh. There we go. There's a little hole in the side there. That baby torching. And yeah, I really should have a cookie sheet under that. I think I'll do that. All right, that's a little safer. Fire marshal wouldn't like that. Anyway, the idea is to get this thing burning so it'll keep a flame going for, I don't know, 5 minutes, and then blow it out, and it should smoke for hours and hours. Like, I think it'll go 8 hours if you fill it all the way up. But I'm only going to be smoking for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. So we'll just let that go there, and we'll get it put in the mailbox in short order. Yeah, so that smoker had a pan in there, and if you get it up to 150, you'd get this wicked looking white hot smoke that looked like car exhaust coming out the top stack. And really what we're after for kokanee is a thin blue smoke. Well, I put legs on that smoker to on that maze to keep it off the bottom, so it'll get better air flow and seems to perform better if it has a little air gap underneath it. I'm going to let it smolder there, and then I'm going to close the box I got the draft cracked about a third of the way, so that seemed to be, last time I used this, it seemed to be about the right amount of air to give it. And yeah, we'll let her burn another couple more minutes, and then we'll close up the system and see if we can get smoke coming out in the smoker. Yeah, already getting warm in there, 114 degrees. So this will automatically shut off. If the mailbox produces a lot of heat, the burner will shut off. So that works pretty good. This is a pretty good setup for a Redneck smoker setup. It makes the best smoked fish fillets when you can smoke it low and slow like this. And it gets a lot of compliments for the aesthetic, as you could imagine. Well, yeah, it's been going for about 5 minutes now, so I'm going to blow it out and close the lid. Yeah. Close the door. It's the perfect amount of air. And don't forget to put the flag up. If there's a batch in the smoker, always put the flag up for good luck. Got some nice thin blue smoke coming out my customized chimney here. That's a green bean can, which is standard for this Redneck smoker. Has to be a green bean can. Anyway, nice thin blue smoke. These are going to be some tasty fillets. Operating temperature right now 143, but you can see the heat light isn't on, so it's going to cool down and we'll be good to go. Well, you may have noticed the only thing clean on this Redneck smoker are the racks. They get cleaned every time we use the smoker, but the inside of it looks like the bowels of hell, which is just what you want. You want that nice coating of creosote. And don't ever clean the glass. I'm not sure why they put windows on these things, but smokers have a nasty job. I do change the heavy-duty tin foil down there in the bottom periodically, but I only cooked one batch of fish. Some trout a friend gave me. Smoked it up, and I mean that tin foil doesn't look too bad. Anyway, don't scrub the inside of your Redneck smoker. It just takes all the flavor away. All right. Well, this thing's stabilized about 122 so far. These fish fillets, they feel like gummy bears. They're sticky, they're rubbery. They've been sitting in front of the fan for about an hour and a half. They are so ready to go. So we're gonna load them up in here. Hopefully we have enough rack space, because boy, got some big fillets here. Woo! Let's try to cram them on here. See how many will fit. Oh, that's a big one. Nice. Good looking fish. Well, we got a whole smoker load. 8 pounds of boneless kokanee fillets ready to go. All right, we're smoking along at 118 degrees. Only thing to do now is to kick back for a couple hours, sip on something cold, and then in about 2 hours I'll come out and turn the temperature from 120 up to 140 for an hour, and then after that another hour at 160. So stay tuned, and before long we'll be pulling off some finished product and give it a little taste test. All right, friends, we're back after a lengthy smoker session. I smoked that one batch and it didn't turn out as good as I wanted because I overstuffed the smoker. But I ended up rotating the racks a little bit and it came out pretty good. Went back to the lake, got another load of kokanee. This time we both limited out, and we got 20 kokanee, and I smoked that in 2 batches. And it turned out a lot better. Real even smoke. I didn't have to rotate the racks. It was a lot more relaxing, easier to deal with. So anyway, I got a nice meal here. I got some smoked kokanee, pickled beets from the garden, cheese and crackers with some pepper jack, just the way I like it. This is from the first batch, and this is a smaller fillet, but turned out nice and firm, but it's still moist. Plenty of oil. It didn't bleed all of its oil out because I started smoking it so cold. Anyway, this is one of my favorite snack meals. Great lunch. The pepper jack really brings out the flavor in the fish. I changed the smoker times, or the smoker temps. 2 hours at 120, 140 for an hour, and then finally 160 for 1 hour. And that's for fish that are around 12 to 15 inches. If they're bigger, thicker fillets, you'll have to go longer than that. Worked out really well. And the second batch I did, I brined it all night because I got in late and I wanted to get it in the brine. So, you know, the flavor was about the same. I did get my shirt cleaned up, by the way. All the blood stains came out. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, Sarah just threw it in the wash and it came out clean. Fresh kokanee and pickled beets. These are my fave. So let's peel this thing open and see what it tastes like. Smoked in applewood. I wish I had some alder pellets because that's my favorite. And it's a local native. But didn't have any. I heard they put a lot of alder in the applewood. Kind of tastes like it. They don't have enough apple chips to make those pellets, so they use a lot of alder. That's a rumor I heard. Anyway, yeah, this stuff's like candy. It's perfect consistency. You can put that on the cracker. Oh man. Landlocked sockeye. Oh. That is unreal. Can't believe I did that. So that's a really good recipe. I don't think you can do it any better. Nice and firm. Not too sweet. Not too salty. Well, friends, as you can see, I'm going to be busy for a while. I sure thank you for joining me on this trip. Probably the next video, I want to do a video on some axe ideas that I have and some chopping block ideas that I have out in the woodshed. I'm going to try to get to that. We got a lot of hot weather coming, so I'm going to try to get to that. And then in the near future, some backcountry float tube fishing, catch and cook right at the water's edge. And I want to get to that pretty quick. It's a great time of year. It's a little hot right now, but had a pretty good summer so far. Hope you're doing well. I wish you all a happy holiday weekend, 4th of July, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless and take care.